Hello, welcome back. We're still playing our 1890 Japanese campaign, Rise of the Dragon. Now, as you can see, I wanted to check our current queue of ships that are being built, just for the sake of the fact that we're kind of in the red here. We need to get this stuff done fairly quick before we start losing too much money. But other than that, we pretty much did everything we needed to do last episode as far as upkeep and building and all that other whatnot. We're still at the point where we want to get rid of these old battleships if we can at some point, but we'll just save them, save them for the point that we can hopefully convert them. That's probably going to be a while, since we're only just now getting into the seaborne, like the floatplane carriers. But other than that, let's crack on here. We will see what March of 1915 brings us. Building some air bases. Spain is in a rough spot. They're spending 10% of their Navy budget on research, and they only have 838 in their bank. But they are switching into gunnery training, it seems. Or maybe they already were, and we just now picked that up from our spying on them. So let's continue on. Oh, North Korea, that's something we wanted. So let's go ahead and grab that if we can. Nice. It's going to raise some tensions. But that's okay. We want North Korea. This brings us into the proper uh, like foothold on Asia. I mean, this looks, except for the Philippine, except for this stuff down here in Guam, of course, this looks somewhat accurate. They didn't have Shanghai, but this looks somewhat accurate to like the start of World War II for Japan. It's not that far off. We have some more holdings than historically we would have. So let's check our comparison of dock size. We're still probably good on dock size. We're within about 2,000 of the big boys there. So let us continue on. Yep, our dock size is actually going down because we're not building enough stuff. But that's okay. Let's not go too crazy with raising tensions, but we can do this instead and get some budget out of it. More torpedo improvements. Oh no, we lost Lautang Peninsula. I kind of forgot that those were even in rebellion. Not that there's anything we can do to stop it, but that just gives us some war goals, something to take over if we ever go to war with China again. Not that I think we ever will. Nah, doesn't seem too likely. They'll probably always back down. Let's get some prestige and lower tensions. See if we can't stretch out this period of peace. No, no. All we'd be doing is uh, making upkeep for ourselves for fighters stationed over there, like on these various little air bases. So let's go for this as a fighter. It's faster. It's got less range than anything else, but kind of balanced stats. I do like speed. Yep, we'll do float plane scouts so we can put something on our little AVs we just built, we're working on. So we go for reliability and speed. We just want them to work and we want them to go out and scout fast for us. We don't want to demand too much of our early aircraft. Still making Corvettes. That's to protect all of our new territory that we just, oops, protect all of our new territory that we just built up, or we just captured, I guess. 13 months left on Kamchatka. We'll build that up as soon as it's done. Basically, we'll start rebuilding it because we do want some ability to deploy into the northern Pacific here. And if the US has 60 and we have about 60, uh, we'll be able to compete with them at least. All right, reduced budget. We can't complain about that too much. 1,500 destroyers. But we can't complain too much about our budget getting slashed because we are lowering tension every time we can, essentially, to extend out this period of peace. So who can we annoy to gain some budget? How about the US? They're far away. Yeah, that's fine. Otherwise, it's all great powers. Hang on, we might be able to annoy France. Are they allied to anyone? They are not. How do they look on ships? They don't look that great, honestly. They have a lot of regular battleships, but I mean, how much does that count for in this era anymore? Mm, I mean, they are building up a new class of battleship, the Justice. The thing might be a bit of a monster. You know what? We'll just say France. There we go. And we'll try for some more budget by hoping the Prime Minister is a coward. Like, hey, your personal safety depends on the power of our Navy. Forget the safety of the nation. It's just you, right? So float plane, we want speed and range, so we could get nice speed here, but lower. It's only a few miles. I'd rather have the 10 extra speed and lose a few miles on the range, as long as they can get there faster. Yeah, we'll go with that. Everything is short ranged right now, so unless we're fighting pretty close to one of our air bases, it won't matter that much anyway. Did we build an air base down here? Doesn't appear so. Let's build one in Sanya. Okay. We are getting into excess monthly balance again. Maybe it's about that time where we consider either upgrading our battleships or building a whole new class of them. Although the ones we have are only 4 years old right now. So let's see if we can delay that a little bit longer. So 9 14-inch guns. This is a dreadnought, 24 knots. You can see that our old battleships are already getting outclassed. So maybe we will focus on a whole new set of battleships. And this is really good for building battleships. That'll help us go faster. That's good. We want more torpedo damage. Not yet. We're still holding off on that. Um, yeah, let's see. We'll see how much budget we have here in just a couple of months. Quality 0 14-inch guns. So at least we know what we're going to put. Oh, the new fighter has steadiness as a gun platform. I wonder what that does. All right, naval patrol. Now we can consider, once these get finished, we can consider uh, putting squadrons on our airfields. How did we end up with all these extra destroyers? Oh, we're building them. Okay. I was going to say, usually we build them in fours, so I thought maybe I had one set going, but we have quite a few on the way. Funny enough, it's just as we finished up the 1,500-ton research. So let's get rid of those. I know they're almost done, but again, I don't think anything below about 2,000 tons for destroyers is worth upgrading or refitting at least. I should get rid of these ones as well. I know it seems a little bit wasteful, but the difference between an 1,100-ton destroyer and a 1,500-ton destroyer is massive. And we can put triple torpedo mounts. So let's build some destroyers that will actually last us for a while here. So they're oil. We're going to give them good engines. They have normal accommodations, so we can deploy them wherever we want, essentially. They have centerline mounts. If we take 2 knots off the speed, that gives us a lot of room to play with. So we'll go with another centerline mount for torpedoes. We'll give it maximum mines. We don't want minesweeper gear. We'll leave that to our corvettes. Or maybe even cruisers at some point. So that's fine. We don't have the depth charge extra DC. Huh, you know what? We do have the tonnage for minesweeping gear. And there's nothing else we can really add to this thing. No, and even if we took the minesweeping stuff off, we won't have enough for another knot of speed, which is fine. All right, so we'll have 3 4-inch guns. That's good for, we could kill other destroyers and maybe, well, maybe other destroyers and probably merchant ships with that. But more importantly, we're going to have 9 torpedoes, 3 sets of 3. So that's pretty good. We have no room for fire control upgrades at the moment, but they are just destroyers. They're not meant to be super accurate gun platforms. They're meant to fire off the torpedoes, and then we generally send them home. So let's pick a name for these. What sounds kind of cool? How about the Oboro? I like it. They're 369 each, which means we could build about 24 of those without any real issue. And that will essentially be our submarine, or pops right up, our destroyer fleet for a while. Okay. Anti-aircraft artillery. All right, let's build 24 of these. We can actually build 28 of those. Cool. All right. Yes, we're building 28 of these now. That still leaves us with a little bit of extra budget. What could we do with that? Um, let's see here. What could we do? We could maybe add some anti-aircraft artillery onto these battleships here. But at the same time, let's be realistic. These battleships are 1911 designs. We're going to end up replacing those because, again, we're still limited by the speed of the hull itself. Like, if we somehow stripped off guns, like if we went crazy and stripped off a gun and rebuilt it, etc., we'd still be limited to speed by the ship, like the hull itself. So these ships aren't going to last until the 19, you know, I don't know, the 1920s as actual battleships that we're actively using. In the 20s is really when you need to start worrying about aircraft. These early aircraft, they might kill a ship here and there, maybe, if they get lucky. But for right now, they're just meant to, that really all they're going to accomplish is scouting. So going through the whole process of trying to speed these things up and put anti-aircraft on them, it's not necessary because they're not going to be frontline combatants in the era where airplanes matter, and they're never going to be fast enough to be frontline combatants anyway. So I know some people might be shaking their heads right now at how often we scrap ships and make whole new designs and etc. But the hulls these things are built on are just old and obsolete, or they're getting there anyway. Now, what we can look at are the battle cruisers. Although they were just rebuilt. Actually, they were just recently built. I think we just finished them. Yeah, we just finished these last year, so there's not a whole lot we can do. What if we did replace machinery? That's already 1800 for a year, and we only get 270 tons out of it. We could throw a fire director on there. We could throw. Huh, we can't even put. Oh, we didn't. You know what? We haven't even done any research into anti-air yet. We've unlocked it as a technology, but we don't have any research in it anyway. So why am I stressing out over that? Okay. So one thing I do really like are light cruisers. They do a bit of everything. So one thing we can look at is a new heavy cruiser design, and that won't be. We'll be doing that in about 15 months or so, or maybe 13 months. So let's just see if we can spend money somewhere for. Well, we'll hang on to this. We're not anywhere near the halfway mark on our main yearly budget anyway. So if we save up a little bit of a nest egg there, gunboat, and there are above water tubes for the light cruisers. That probably answers the question of what we're working on next. Oh boy, do we need more budget? We might be getting close to the point where we're going to cause some unrest. We could trade in a little bit of budget. We could trade in. You know what? We're not near the danger zone yet. So let's just say USA because they are the lowest out of those choices, and that gives us actually a lot of budget to work with. Okay. So these Asamas were last upgraded about 10 years ago, and they are, geez, they're like 15-year-old designs. So is there anything we can even do with these? If we replace the machinery with oil, we save 600 tons. We could increase the speed. We could give it a better fire control. We could upgrade the guns. We could give it a fire director. We could make them minesweepers, weirdly enough. Nope. Only destroyers and corvettes can carry those right now. So what do we think about this? I mean, it gives us zero qualities, 7-inch guns. Gives us a bunch of 4-inch guns. Could we upgrade these to fives? Probably. Well, no. I was gonna say probably not. The director might not allow that. But we could strap some more on there, or go for more speed. See, this is the problem we run into where we can't make them go more than 24 knots. And the problem is the battleships, even the battleships that are being made right now, are going like 23, 24 knots. These armored cruisers won't even be able to outrun battleships, let alone battle cruisers. So really, as raiders, they're just not effective. So these might not, we might not do anything with these. Might just let them quietly go away into obscurity. Okay, we don't care about larger seaplane carriers, we care about light carriers. Okay, we're still getting uh, tensions that are going down because of the war, which is good. That gives us at least a few more months in between. Not yet. Oh, there it is. So it gives us a few months at least between wars. All right. So this thing can go 107 miles at 50 speed, and it's fairly tough. The maneuverability is not great, but it gains some firepower. Do we care about firepower in our naval patrols? We really don't. So what if we go 2 knots faster, or 2 miles an hour faster, but we lose 16, or what is that? Yeah, it's 16 miles on the range. So let's just go for that. Okay, look at our aircraft types. So we're still developing this thing. Air groups. Yeah, we don't have to worry about that yet. Once we get our naval patrol craft done, as Russia and France are being buddies. So we're losing budget no matter what we do. So let's give up a prestige and try to make our people happier. I know we're at 0 unrest. Actually, yeah, never mind. We're at 0 unrest. So let's just lose some money, I guess, and keep going. So this is what the new US battleships look like. They're just big, fat monsters. 12, 14-inch guns. They're going 20 knots, 12-inch belts, just riddled with 5-inch guns. And they're still carrying torpedo tubes. So this is, I would like to have battleships like this, but I imagine they are very expensive to build. 30, basically almost 33,000 tons, and just armored, completely armored. Okay, we did say we are going to keep upgrading this at least a little bit. And we'll give them an air base that will probably never ever get used. So we might not upgrade that air base very much, maybe to 40. I did set the limit on this campaign for air bases to 60, because any more than that gets a little bit too much. The AI just spams it, and we don't want to, get into a fight over here, like around Manila. And it's like, oh, we have 100 aircraft here, we have 100 here, we have 100 here, we have 100 here. All of a sudden, there's 400 aircraft, and we don't get into any like fun or interesting fights because of it. So we're sitting about 7 months before we can work on this light cruiser design. We could start on it now. No, we could start on it now, but uh, we'll lose prestige to lower tensions. Cool. Yeah. But if we started on the light cruiser now, uh, there's some technologies we might like this 1% weight on hull savings. Essentially, I'm trying to delay it as much as possible. Okay, we're going to lose all our budget in the meantime. Yeah, we're going to end up bleeding off a lot of our prestige that we've earned. Yep, torpedo bombers. So does that mean our naval patrol craft are almost ready? So let's go to our base overview and we'll upgrade the areas where we think we're going to have fights. There we go. Not yet. Almost. Once we get 40 aircraft at these bases, I'm not gonna put any at Kamchatka for now because I don't picture us going to war with the US anytime soon. So who do we blame? Let's blame France. Funny enough, RVT just launched a new video today, and he's also blaming France. Of course, this video here that I'm making isn't going to be out for a couple of days. So I've been scheduling them ahead a little bit here to give me a buffer while I play EverQuest, which is an old MMO celebrating its 25th year of still being played. Superimpose guns on destroyers, whatever. Okay. Now, it might be nice to put that on high for like a couple of techs to extend our invasion range. Right now, we can hit essentially anything in Southeast Asia, anything in Northeast Asia, but it wouldn't hurt to get more range for invasions so I could hit Tarawa or the New Hebrides. So we'll see. If we're not getting very much advantage out of it, like if it's not extending it very much, like out to like maybe here, if it's not going further, then we'll just put it back to medium and say whatever. Like it'll come when it comes. That's their new battle cruiser, the U.S. I wonder how many of these ships they're actually building. Let's take a look. So they're building, oh my gosh, so many of these Nevadas. These are those big boy battleships. So they're going to have four of those. and they're building three Intrepids. Dang, they are powerful. They are wealthy. Like that's what makes the difference is the wealth. Well, let's keep on being friends with Italy. There's the light AA now, but we're not very worried about it because aircraft aren't a problem at the moment. So we want speed, and then we look at the ranges. 68 versus this is a torpedo bomber. Uh, you know what? Actually, we might not. We might want range over to speed this time. Yeah, let's go for that. If we are launching torpedo strikes from aircraft carriers, it'll probably be very close range, like relatively close range in this era. Excellent. We're getting some nice technologies here. All right. We have 1, 2, 3, about 10 more, 10-ish, maybe 9 more destroyers that are being built. So that's about another 3,000 in budget. So let's get rid of these old ones. Oh, hang on, these are new ones. Let's get rid of our old ones and see if that'll save us a little bit. We're at 4370, 4347. Scrap these old ones. That saved us about 400, 450. Now we can design our light cruisers. So let's see what we can do with this. So we start at 4,500 tons, go up to 5,000. Our current light cruisers are 5,500, and they're only 24 speed. So we'll go with clearing those mounts. Port, starboard, port, starboard. We're a little bit over on our top side. We'll go with 30 mines as opposed to 50. We have a lot of anti-aircraft on this thing for whatever reason. We could even go up to 5,500. Hang on, we need to fix our engines. So we got to 5,500. That solves some of our topside load problems. We could do okay, we can't do double turrets yet. This would be a transformation. Like this is a transformation from gunboat cruisers, gunboat light cruisers at least, into more torpedo focused light cruisers and leave the gunboating to battleships and potentially battle cruisers or heavy cruisers. We could build some like gunboat heavy cruisers. But again, these light cruisers, they'll have 4 guns that are 6 inches, and it's not like the old ones where the guns go down the sides. So you have broadsides. Can we do any more center lines? We can do another center line, maybe. Okay, that's top side equipment. So that'll give us basically a 5-gun broadside, which is the equivalent of. So these always have 10 6-inch guns, which means they would have a forward and an aft gun. Then they'd have 4 down the sides. So that would be 6 guns anyway. So this has just about the same firepower. All right. If we save a little bit of money by reducing the displacement, and we want to keep the 29 knots. Yeah, It's got a lot of horsepower. Unit machinery, what's that do? Reduces damage from engine hits. Oh, what if we go back up to 5,500? Almost. Almost. So if we go down to 10 light AA, this isn't, I mean, this is pretty good. And these should be able to reload, or no, they won't reload, I don't think. I think it's the underwater ones that reload on cruisers. Well, either way, that's still 12 torpedoes. Do we care about the unit machinery? Yeah, that's helpful. I mean, it increase. Oh, look at the price. It's exactly 1,000. That's kind of cool. Let's go with that. That way we know what we're spending. We're gonna call this the. We're not quite at the Kitakami. We're gonna call this the Naka. This isn't quite a Kitakami yet, but we'll get there. Alrighty. So how are we looking on destroyers? Still another few months before those are all done. Yes, we will. Now that we have the naval patrol, we'll just start automatically creating those. It's going to save us some clicks down the road. Cool, that's good. We better battle strength assessment. All right. So we can build, let's do 9 of these. I do like building in 3s and 4s. So let's go ahead and build 9 of these now. And yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's all right. It'll do. That is about the extent of what we can build in one go as Japan right now. We're still like 30,000. There we go. They're reducing our budget again. So say we're like 30,000 behind where we were earlier in the year before we took all those budget hits. Okay. So let's see how much I mean, that did extend it. I wonder what territory that is. Oh, here it is. It must be, yeah, it's that. I don't know how to begin to pronounce that, but that's actually not that bad. We're close to being able to hit that. You know what? We'll keep going with the amphibious technology. Nice. It looks like everyone has access to oil. Oh, Italy, Spain, China do not. All right, let's keep going. There's some production improvements. US and Great Britain are being buddies. Hmm. Do we want the private torpedo bomber versus the one we developed? No. Look, the range is just so much shorter. Nah. No, thank you. And I think that was our last destroyer. So now we go ahead and assign those to divisions. And these are good destroyers. These destroyers could last us a while. Okay. Oops. Oops. My clicking accuracy, not that great. Clicking accuracy, not that great. How did we end up with an extra one? Four, 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 four. How did we end up with an extra one of these Oboros? I know they offered to build one for us at a reduced price. You know what? We'll hang on to it though. I mean, like I said, these are pretty good destroyers. So we'll just throw it in there. That one will have five in it. That's good enough. And we're right about the 40-minute mark. So we're going to go ahead and call this episode to a close. I really appreciate everybody sticking around. If you're still watching, be sure to please, please, please give me a like if you don't mind. And remember to sail safely out there.